Hello, dear friends. This subject was inspired to me during a dream. This knowledge has remained hidden until now for obvious reasons. I wanted to study psychology when I was young, but I studied journalism and I don't regret it because it's my life mission. Opinion piece, exteriorization, autoscopy, no need to die, lasting changes, key to freedom, third-person view, increased empathy, greater spirituality, change of perspective, philosophical traditions, improved quality of life, out-of-body experiences, diminished fear of death, separation of consciousness, the golden hour of the saints. The Simpsons talked about it. Half a meter behind the head, transformation of life purpose, deep feeling of peace and freedom. Let's start. It has been my conviction for many years that the liberation of the human being from suffering consists in the ability to externalize his stable spirit half a meter behind his head on a permanent basis, and this would be the natural state of the human being before he was traumatized and locked or stuffed out of fear into a physical body like a blood sausage, suffering all the psychosomatic problems there are and will be, because of the connection with his reactive bank. Exteriorization refers to the phenomenon in which the spiritual being or immortal soul, capable of living multiple lives, separates from the physical body half a meter behind the head, but maintains consciousness and the ability to control it. Exteriorization is a transformative experience that allows the individual to gain certainty about his spiritual nature, reach new states of consciousness, and achieve previously unattainable spiritual goals. This state is considered evidence that the individual is a spiritual entity independent of the physical body. This phenomenon would correspond to the golden hour of saints. They say that gold produces it. It is said, when the being is exteriorized, it disconnects from this mire of physical pain, as attested by people who have had out-of-body experiences. This also happens spontaneously during sleep, but sometimes we wake up on edge. By the way, dream yoga is a Tibetan Buddhist practice transmitted from master to disciple. From that tradition, it is believed that dreams are potentially a source of deep spiritual knowledge and a guide for everyday life. The goal of this practice is to consciously develop the ability to have lucid dreams as means of learning, to contact teachers distant in time and space, and to be able to help others. Constant exercise during sleep will have a great effect during the waking state. Reactive bank. The reactive bank is the unconscious mind, a stimulus response machine of great magnitude that causes all kinds of pain and suffering to the human being, and that it's very difficult to control unless someone manages to place his consciousness outside the body. In contrast, the analytical mind is the thinking part of a human being, composed of visual images directed by knowledge over which we have relatively complete control and without experiencing suffering. The fundamental principle of the analytical mind is consciousness. One knows what one is doing. It combines perceptions of the immediate environment and estimates of the future towards conclusions based on reality of each situation. The reactive mind, on the other hand, is the set of traumatic incidents for which we have not taken responsibility. This portion of the mind retains physical and emotional pain and seeks to direct the body based on a stimulus-response junk file that is not under the control of our will and that exerts an unfair power of command over consciousness, thought, body, and irrational actions. Stored in this dark mind are traumas that are the source of psychosomatic illnesses. This stupid and deceptive unconscious mind never stops working because it is crude, coarse, and on alert during any moment of life, regardless of the presence of pain. It overrides the will of the being and orders it to action in what it believes is survival, but it is very wrong. It is the main punishment of the human mind since our species lost its natural state of liberation. But we are supposed to free ourselves in this new era, not so much from outside, but through dedicated personal work to achieve this goal. Separation. The externalization of a spirit, half a meter behind the head, would be the most normal liberated state of being. When this occurs, the being becomes aware of itself as independent of the physical body. It then knows that it is not the body and becomes aware of itself, according to Orpheus. Externalization is the act of moving a spirit out of the body. Externalization is the phenomenon of a being who is in a position in space that depends only on his own consideration, able to see from space his body and the room as it is. One can see the body or control it from a distance. The concept of exteriorization of the spirit is related to metaphysical experiences in which the self is perceived as independent of the physical body. Although descriptions and explanations may vary according to philosophical, spiritual, or esoteric traditions, the core of the idea revolves around the separation of consciousness from the physical body, allowing for perception beyond bodily limitations. One doesn't have to die to experience this. According to this perspective, the spirit or consciousness can detach itself from the physical body, maintaining its identity and perception. The most commonly described experience is being a short distance from the body, such as 2 feet behind the head, from where the individual perceives his or her surroundings. During exteriorization, the individual realizes that he is not the physical body, but a separate and independent identity. This experience can generate a feeling of freedom, self-understanding, and a change in the perception of reality. Phenomena. Autoscopy is an experience in which the individual sees his own body from a different perspective, while feeling that he is awake. Such a phenomenon has intrigued humankind since time immemorial and is abundant in folklore, mythology, and the spiritual narrative of most ancient and modern societies. In 1986, the Brazilian parapsychologist Waldo Vieira published Project Theologia, where he recorded more than 1,900 cases from 18 languages. The out-of-body experience is a sensation of floating in the air projected outside the body. This same sensation is called astral projection, astral travel, astral splitting, or projection of consciousness. Neuroscientists and psychologists consider this type of experience to be a dissociation caused by different psychological and neurological factors. The writer Robert Monroe published Fire Journeys, where he presents several stories about astral projection. Even The Simpsons have a chapter dedicated to out-of-body experiences. Current research focuses on understanding this phenomena of psychological or neurological experiences, However, there are related phenomena that have been studied from a scientific perspective, such as out-of-body experiences, which are subjective sensations of floating outside one's own body. These experiences occur in approximately 10% of the population and are often associated with near-death experiences. Out-of-body experiences are personal experiences that go beyond the conventional scientific scope. Indeed, many people report having had such experiences, which include sensations of floating outside the physical body, observing themselves from an external perspective, traveling to other places or dimensions, and experiencing a profound sense of peace and freedom. Science knows relatively little about this subject because it has no means of verifying such experiences with measuring instruments. From science so far, there is no evidence that the sensation of an out-of-body experience is a hallucination or otherwise. They can be induced by electrical stimulation of the brain, specifically in the temporal parietal junction. On the other hand, astral projection is a term used in esoteric contexts to describe separation of consciousness from the physical body. These experiences can occur simultaneously or be induced by techniques such as meditation. Some people consider them evidence of a consciousness that transcends the physical. There are various techniques to induce an out-of-body experience, such as deep relaxation, conscious breathing, visualization, binaural waves, sensory deprivation in floating tanks, or pink noise through headphones. It is important to remain calm and focused during the process, as fear of doubt can impede the experience. Effects, in plural. Conventional science cannot yet explain this phenomena. However, this does not invalidate the personal experiences of those who have experienced them. Many report that these experiences have had a profound and transformative impact on their lives. These experiences represent a fascinating area that deserves to be explored with an open mind, respecting personal experiences. Out-of-body experiences often have a profound and life-changing impact on those who experience them. Experiencers report a transformation in their perception of reality and a greater understanding of their purpose in life. Experiencers often feel more at peace and less fearful about the end of life, viewing death as a transition rather than an ending. These experiences can foster a stronger connection to oneself, others, and the universe. A study from the University of Virginia found that people who have experienced them tend to display more social behavior and a greater ability to form harmonious relationships. 55% of people who experienced them reported a profound change in their life, and 71% described it as an event with lasting benefits. People often experience a profound transformation in their life, purpose, and beliefs about the world. Integrating the lessons and insights gained during this experience can lead to a fuller, more meaningful life. This experience can have such a significant impact that they are often considered among the most profound moments of a human being's life, generating lasting changes in their outlook and behavior. Traditions. Consciousness can observe the physical body from an external perspective, which is often described as a third-person view. Some traditions claim that it is possible to control the physical body from this external position. This suggests that the location of the spirit in space is not limited by physical laws, but depends on the individual's own intention or consideration. Exteriorization is often compared to astral projection, where the astral body or consciousness travels outside the physical body to spiritual planes or distant places in the physical world. The idea of exteriorization is a profound theme that invites personal exploration, questioning of identity and perception of the self. Cultures and philosophies such as Hinduism, Buddhism, or Western esotericism have spoken of out-of-body experiences and states of expanded consciousness. Practitioners of advanced meditation, hypnosis, or specific spiritual techniques claim to experience an exteriorization as part of their spiritual development. From a psychological point of view, some experiences of exteriorization can be associated with altered states of consciousness, lucid dreaming, or near-death experiences. The idea that consciousness or spirit can exist independently of the physical body is a recurring theme in various spiritual and philosophical traditions. Although interpretation and method vary, a common goal is the search for a deeper understanding of the nature of being and the transcendence of physical limitations. Gnosticism is a set of philosophical currents that emerged in the first centuries of Christianity. Gnostics held that the material world is an imperfect creation and that true knowledge or gnosis allows the soul to free itself from material bonds to reunite with the divine. Although there is no explicit talk of exteriorization of the spirit, the idea that the soul can transcend the physical body to reach a higher state of knowledge and existence is central to Gnosticism. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.